What's good, YouTube, and welcome to the house. The YCS is slamming the market, and it's not even over yet. All eyes glued to the screen for hot techs and what they should be playing in the national season upcoming, and Sword Soul Tenyi proving it. A lot of people were reacting to those buyouts like, it's not even gonna do it. Well, 7 of them are in the top cut, and I believe one's made it to top 4. We'll do the full breakdown to where we're at now. The Punk engine really proving itself. Whenever Punk debuted, I was like, this is a worse synchro deck. Did not consider how insane of an engine it could be, and it's proven itself time and time again, and now really more towards, I think more people are playing that than Adventure overall. It's close. And then you also have it mixing with other engines like Adventure and Therion. You have branded Despia, branded Eldritch with a huge chunk of the pie chart still, 3 Flunders, 3 Sky Strikers, which also still in, Drytron, I think it's Justin Singh in the top 4, adding Nisters, DDDs, Dragon Link Adventure, and ABC went undefeated in Swiss with Adventure. So let's go ahead and go through how that actually fell out. Into the top 16, Flunder always a threat. All 3 of them made it into top 16. 2 Tenyi Sword Souls, 2 Sky Strikers, 2 Drytrons, 2 Adventure Punks, 2 Despias, 2 Synchro Punk, and a Therion Punk. We advance to the top 8, where it's then going to be 2 Sky Strikers, 2 Adventure Punks, a Tenyi Sword Soul, a Drytron, a Despia, and a Flunder, and into the top 4. The Flunders are all left the coop. Sky Striker, Tenyi Sword Soul, Drytron, and Despia are left. So we've got a very toe-to-toe, head-to-head format of plenty of different things that can definitely do it. Therion does feel a little bloated in price for how underrepresented it is here, but it's also their first event where a lot of people might not really know how to play it. The plant version also not up here. So let's talk about hot techs. Hani was on Foolish Return, and the LART for this is spiking like crazy. Select 1 card from your opponent's graveyard, shuffle it into their deck. Kind of similar to how Hunter Lloyd was playing Blizzard, which also started spiking. It's funny, I saw him on Facebook. Anyone at Hartford have Blizzards? Had the hot tech, wasn't even prepared, use it in a feature match, people freaking out, and it is an interesting card. Target a face-up spell card that your opponent controls. This turn, negate the activated effects of that spell and all spells on the field with the same original name. So if the targeted card would be sent to the opponent's graveyard this turn, it's added to their hand. Whenever they're activating it and you do this, it's basically like a turn 1 stall that gives it back, but you're going to try to end it the next turn, or the relevance of a choke point was there, where this card kind of just, yeah, get that out of there, back into your deck. Can you still resolve? The 2 interesting different approaches to actually handling this being pretty darn similar to DD Crow that can't be called by the grave, though. Foolish Return, definitely super interesting text by the pros among these 2. Then we have the Predaplant Buyouts, and this is insane. This is where it was at last night. Let's see if it's recovered at all. Yeah, people still being extremely greedy. This engine was played, I believe, by Cotton and other pros, and it was looking pretty good day 2 in, but I don't think any of them topped. Correct me if I am wrong. I actually had an insane poker session last night, and people have been filling me in as I go, but I did see this one last night in the morning. I posted about it, and a lot of other Predaplant stuff is going. Now, there's probably reprints for this coming, but the week after National. So if you're wanting this engine now, you're late to it. You weren't already on it when the cards were extremely cheap coming out of, our brand new set, Dimension Force, which I was super happy they were budget. I don't blame you for wanting to wait, but if you were going to play it at Nationals, you should have already had it, not be buying into this hype. Prime Fusion, Immortal Destiny spiking. You've got the Predaplant little dude, I'm not even going to try to say Dewey, and he's way up for his versions. That is a reprint for him. And you also have Ortho Scorpio. I probably respect this one the most. You can play this in other decks. It can actually search you Fusion Destiny. It too is doing pretty well for itself on all versions buyout mode right now. So yeah, Predaplant stuff going crazy. That's the reason, even though you don't see it on that top cut list. The Punk engine, oh yeah, Foxy Tune going way up in price. Dear Note still up there from the new set. People are going to be wanting to grab her. And you do have Ogre the Collector Rare up there in price low listings, along with the Collector Rare of Foxy Tune. Plenty of the Punk engine is very cheap overall, but the important pieces getting up there in price. Remember, it's only 3.6 average of each Ultra Rare per case. That's 12 boxes of Grand Creators, but Grand Creators was opened a ton for the Adventure engine, and now the Punk engine is coming into play, and then Exo Sisters later. So it's looking pretty good for itself over on Grand Creators, even though it's not an all-foil side set. It's the first one that's a deck building set that's doing well for itself, and it looks like that sealed day also slammed the boxes a little. I told you I did like the sealed at this point with how all three archetypes were popping off. You have Libromancer Fire MBT round 1, and then also round 8 feature I heard, and it's going up in price for Fire, but I don't know, like, it's not getting results, but it's such a fun deck. It's so weird to, like, look at it, say fun deck, but also competitive, but also not quite there doing it. Oh, it's so close. Maybe it will. And you also see Geek Boy up in price again, the older piece of this, and low quantities for a lot of their cards now. Unauthorized reactivation spiked huge before the YCS. This is a really good card if you don't know what it does. It's from the structure deck Mechanized Madness. Target the one machine monster you control, equip an appropriate machine union monster from your hand or deck to that monster, but the union monster you equipped cannot be special summoned this turn. Oh no, you're gonna blink off or get the advantage another way. You're not gonna have to worry about that, right? So this card, $10 card out of a structure deck. You might have some money you didn't know about. Obviously, like ABC, Therion interested in the card, and very few quantities. In this structure deck going up in price due to pretty much just that card right now with tons of other penny stonks inside. I told you guys, I get to say I told you so once in a while. I also own When I Was Wrong, like the Punk engine, that Grandmaster, namesake, was going to for the collector, or not collector rare, Starlight Rare. We're stumbling here, but the Starlight Rare was likely to spike up in prices. People were eyeing Sword Souls, and here it goes. It's starting to, and there's very few listings. They're still competitive to a degree, but they're almost gone. So you might want to use that TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. I never messed that one up now, do I? Other pieces of the Sword Soul engine, though extremely low on quantities, like the Searcher Ultra Rare. Moyi kind of settled around 40 after all of the hype. And you have the other Ultra Rares around $5-6. Like, it's doing pretty well for itself throughout this entire engine, but I do feel like Sword Soul, now that it's on notice, it's one of the decks to beat. And that usually for a Nationals means you're going to get a lot of side deck options against you, which is already happening with like Token Collector, right? Sky Striker's doing it that big is going to put it on notice. Imperial Order is gone, Crab Brave, and you have the higher end of this even up further in market price. It's not like it's getting bought out right now because of it. You also have that holiday box, which caused a lot of the buyouts and hype around this, but the lower end for this slowly going down a little in price due to that, but now it's on notice and you're in national season, so most Striker players already have the deck that would want to be playing it, right? But a super solid and strong option. And speaking of Striker, their main power card, Mystic Mine, we did see it in other matchups too. Yeah, super Mystic Mine's going back up in price, and very low on quantities for the Secret Rare. You do have options with a Gold Rare if you just want to really do the card dirty and make people look at it that way. Mizuki, we talked about Gozuki getting bought out. Every single version of this is some solid dollars. I didn't know that, and they're low listings too for a lot of them. As people look at Zombie Good Stuff, while it's not like taking over or even topping right now, a lot of people are enjoying the deck similar to Libromancer. Fun Yu-Gi-Oh! Equals expensive Yu-Gi-Oh! I guess, but Mizuki very storied within the game. The Duelist Saga version now bought out, 6 listings. You have the Premium Pack Secret Rare also on buyout mode, the 2 nicest versions of it, and I do like the purple Mizuki. Purple looks very nice on him, and red kind of too. It fits the themality, but you don't get holographic in the picture with the Duelist Leagues. You have plenty of versions to choose from still within a budget range. If you're late to this deck or returning thanks to Master Duel and you want to play zombies and you want to figure out what they're doing, but kind of test first. Test before you invest. Wise words, even though I'm not a financial advisor channel. Thunder is probably your cheapest option to hit up, but it keeps fizzling out in events. But realistically, every time I see a pro like lose a match that they feel they shouldn't have, it's usually to this deck, and they really don't want you to be playing it. So this deck really able to go toe-to-toe with the best of them, and a very serious option, but it almost feels like Drytron's taking its place with Ben 10 back to 2. White Aura Dolphin was pointed out to me along with White Aura Whale, which is spiking. They didn't give me a reason why. Let me know in the comment section down below if you know why. I do respect this card, the OTK ability. You need specifically a water tuner for this one though. White Aura Dolphin is interesting as well, but like it's not really moving. So let me know why this is spiking right now, and if this actually ends up going with it, or if it's just an aside or something. But I can't read the cards right now. YCS, I gotta get back to watching. And finally, let's talk about Dimension Force. You do have Borea doing well for herself, solid 30 again. Regulus staying 80 through the weekend. You might see that hype fall out a little, even though it is performing this early. Psychic and Punisher was on some top cut in boards. I saw that in a feature match, so it's doing well. That gets to be my call. And Die Coliseum staying up in price around 15, not falling towards that $12, $10 mark yet. The engine really proving itself. So overall, you have a lot of interesting twists and turns to Defo, and yeah, Star Frost Ultra is really hard to replace on the market. It's around $40. It looks really good. The more I stare at it, the more I kind of am like, maybe you're on to something. Because I kind of just like the darker look versus the lightness of there's something about it. There's something about it. But when it comes down to this set, I do feel like Defo is overperforming versus a lot of people's expectations, and also there's just less of it out there than you might expect. The top end too, a lot of people scared of that Starlight market due to that one case that Card Brawlers opened. I gotta say, if it's just one case and we don't see those elsewhere or hear about them, I think the Starlights are probably all right to go for, and Bell seems a bit undervalued. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. And what do you think of the YCS and how it's going? I'm gonna go watch, top 4 finals now, though. Let's see if there's anything else crazy. But this is the fallout on the market, and I think most of that is already there, although more can happen through the weekend.